My new book on Canto 3 of Srimad Bhagavatam just came out. It's called Varaha, Vidura, and Kapila, Srimad Bhagavatam's third canto. So I'm going to start a series of videos explaining the third canto and reading sections of the book. You can get it by going to my website. So today I want to start by giving an overview of the whole thing, the whole third canto. Basically, there's two important stories in the third canto, the story of Varaha and the story of Kapila. There are two avatars of Hari. Varaha is a wild boar, and Kapila is a great philosopher. So in the Varaha story, there's a great heroic and romantic adventure. And the Kapila story is full of philosophy, deep philosophy about bhakti. And the third important character or story in the third canto is Vidura. Vidura's story is mainly at the very beginning, and it sets up the rest of the third canto for these other two stories to be told, the story of Varaha and the story of Kapila. So Vidura, he's a great devotee of Krishna, and he meets another amazingly great devotee, Uddhava. And then Uddhava sends him to another devotee, Maitreya, to learn some special philosophy that Krishna explained just before he left the planet. So then, Vidura goes to Maitreya and starts to ask him questions. And that conversation between Vidura and Maitreya becomes the rest of Canto 3 and the whole Canto 4. So basically, really, the third canto is essentially about Varaha and Kapila. Now, of course, there's a lot of backstory for each of these main stories. In fact, the two stories, Varaha and Kapila, have the same backstory. The backstory to the both of them is the origin of the universe and its evolution, primal evolution, and then the generation of Brahma, and then this creations that Brahma made. Because after explaining how the universe originates and how it evolves into an inhabitable form, and then how Brahma comes out and starts to actually build specific things and specific life forms, you get to this part of the story where Brahma is really frustrated because he can't get organic reproduction to work right. And the whole time that he's laboring over this problem of how to get organisms to reproduce naturally, the whole earth becomes neglected. There's no living entities inhabiting it. And it falls or dissolves into the waters of the cosmic ocean. It dissolves into the universe. It falls to the bottom of the universe. So that's the setup, that's the backstory for the Varaha tale, because Varaha's story is he's the one who saves the earth. He rescues the earth, digs it up out of the bottom of the universe as a wild boar, and puts her back where she belongs. So that's the Varaha story with its backstory. And then also in telling that story, Maitreya mentions that one time Varaha had to kill a demon when he was rescuing the earth. And so then Vidura asks, well, who is this demon? And then there's some really amazing backstory about this demon. And that backstory takes us into Vaikuntha, and we hear about the two guards of Hari's palace in Vaikuntha, Jai and Vijay, and how they got cursed by Brahma's 4 sons who were visiting Vaikuntha. It's an amazing story. Then after this whole Varaha story is told, then Maitreya goes back to the timeline of this creation backstory. So after the earth got fixed, then Manu, who was the first human. And humans were Brahma's success story. Brahma was able to create an organism that could, organically reproduce when he created humans. So then he was ready to put them on the earth. But then he noticed that the earth was gone. And so that's why Varaha had to come and rescue it. So then the earth gets restored, and then the humans go onto the earth. Then Vidura wants to know, well, what happened next? What kind of children did they have? What kind of grandchildren did they have? And so on. And how did it work? How did population arise from just a few people? So, of course, of telling that, one of the very early grandchildren of Brahma is Kapila. So that's how the Kapila story also comes up in the third canto. And to summarize Kapila's story, Kapila basically enlightens his mother, Devahuti, who asks him a question. Her question is, I constantly lead myself into misery by following the thirsts of my emotions and my senses, and I can't get out of this darkness. How do I get out of this darkness? And he, answering that question, he gives, I think, 6 or 7 chapters, a lot of chapters, explaining Bhakti Yoga, Uttam Bhakti Yoga, pure devotion, and how it's based on solid knowledge. And he gives all this solid knowledge, and he also gives exact information about what pure devotion is and how it's to be practiced. And then he also describes how it grants liberation. So he also will describe how living entities go away from liberation and towards liberation, and how bhakti gives us supreme liberation. So there you go. That's the third canto in a couple of minutes. And again, I'm doing this because I just released the book, Varaha, Vidura, and Kapila, Srimad Bhagavatam's third canto, which you can get through my website. And what I'm going to try to do is every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, more or less, read a little bit from the book sequentially, so you can get the feeling for it. And you can enjoy the third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Hari Bol.